All right, let's talk about something really important. Today, we're cracking open the Manipulator's Playbook. We're going to break down some of the most common and, frankly, most confusing tactics people use to keep you feeling off balance.
You know that feeling, right? That constant confusion where you feel like you're always one step behind and you're never quite sure what just happened or why? If that sounds familiar, I want you to know that's not an accident. It is absolutely by design.
Because you see, manipulation isn't usually random chaos. It actually follows a set of pretty predictable patterns, or plays. Think of it like an invisible playbook that's being used to control the game you didn't even know you were playing.
And the entire point of this whole thing is to be confusing. So our goal here is simple. We're going to give you the rule book. Because the very first step to dealing with these tactics is just to give them a name. When you can finally see the play for what it is, you're not playing in the dark anymore.
Okay, so first up, let's dive into the tactics that are all about distorting your reality. These are the plays designed to make you question everything you thought you knew, to literally rewrite your world.
So, selective memory. This is when you bring up something that you know happened, like an argument you had or a promise they made, and they just look at you, maybe with this look of complete confusion, and say, I have no idea what you're talking about, that never happened. They rewrite history so convincingly that you actually start to doubt your own mind. It's a fast track to creating what's called cognitive dissonance, that really uncomfortable feeling of holding two completely conflicting beliefs at the same time, what you know happened and what they insist happened.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? You have your reality on one side, and their confident, completely contradictory story on the other. And when that happens over and over again, it starts to wear you down. It erodes your trust in your own perception, which is, of course, exactly the point.
Now this next one, information withholding, is so insidious because it isn't technically lying. It's all about controlling the story by just leaving out the crucial details. So you end up making decisions based on what you think is the full picture, but it's not. And then, way later, you realize you would have done something totally different if you just had all the facts.
Have you ever asked someone a simple question, and in return you get this 10-minute monologue that goes absolutely everywhere? That's overjustification. It's like they build a wall of words filled with irrelevant details, weird side stories, and super complex reasoning, all designed to just exhaust you until you give up. The goal isn't to clarify, it's to confuse you so much that you just drop it.
Oh, this one is so powerful because it hijacks your sense of hope. They paint these beautiful, vivid pictures of a future together. You know, the house you'll buy, the trip you'll take, the business you'll start, and it all feels so incredibly real. So you invest everything, your time, your energy, your emotions, into a dream that honestly was never going to happen. And really, it just boils down to this. Those promises are just tools. They're tools to keep you hooked, to keep you invested right now, while the amazing future they describe just never seems to arrive.
And that leads us perfectly into our next category. Tactics that aren't just about confusing you, but are designed to actively control what you do, to pull the strings.
This is that classic hot and cold behavior. One day they are showering you with love and attention, and the next they're distant, critical, and cold. That unpredictability creates this powerful, anxious craving inside you. It's actually a really potent thing, neurologically speaking. The unpredictable nature of the reward, their affection, triggers dopamine in your brain in a very similar way to a gambling addiction. It keeps you completely hooked.
It's the perfect metaphor, really. It turns the relationship into a slot machine. You just keep pulling that lever, totally convinced that the next time, that's going to be the time you hit the jackpot. The possibility of that reward becomes way more addictive than consistent, reliable kindness ever could be.
Okay, so with this tactic, you finally do the thing they asked for. You meet the standard, and just when you think you've succeeded, they tell you it wasn't enough. Or actually, they wanted something completely different all along. The target is always shifting, which makes it impossible to ever win. And what that does over time is it just systematically destroys your sense of your own competence. We have to decide right now. You hear that? That's false urgency. This tactic basically manufactures a crisis to short-circuit your rational brain. It hijacks your fear of missing out or your fear of their reaction, and it forces you to commit to something before you've had any chance to think it through or spot the red flags.
All right, our final set of tactics are all about one thing and one thing only: avoiding responsibility. These are the plays used to make sure the manipulator is never, ever the one at fault.
This is when someone performs a task so badly and so consistently that eventually you just give up and do it for them.
You have to understand, this isn't a genuine failure to do the task. No, it's a deliberate strategy. It's a performance designed to shift all the labor and responsibility right onto your shoulders by them just acting helpless.
And here's the long-term result of that. You just stop asking. You end up taking on all the work because it's just easier than dealing with their manufactured incompetence. And that's the goal. They've successfully trained you to expect absolutely nothing from them.
Okay, this one is a masterclass in what you might call emotional jujitsu. You bring up a legitimate hurt, something they did that upset you, and somehow, by the end of the conversation, you're the one apologizing to them. They weaponize your own empathy by performing such intense distress that you end up feeling guilty for even bringing the problem up in the first place.
And you can literally see the sequence play out. It starts with your issue, but then they perform this big emotional reaction, and suddenly the focus shifts entirely to their feelings. Your original point gets completely lost, and you're left comforting the person who hurt you. It's a predictable and, honestly, a devastatingly effective pattern.
This tactic works like a messed up moral bank account. They do something nice, maybe they bring you flowers or give you a compliment, and that's a deposit. Then, later, they feel like they have the right to make a withdrawal by being selfish or cruel. That one good deed becomes a shield they can hold up to deflect any criticism for all the bad stuff.
So, wow, we've just walked through 10 different plays from this invisible playbook. And look, the goal here isn't to make you paranoid. Not at all. It's to make you aware. Because just recognizing the pattern is the single most powerful first step you can take to changing the game. And if you take one thing away, let it be this. Pay close attention to how these tactics make you feel. Future faking feels hopeful but also stuck. Victim reversal leaves you feeling confused and guilty. Those feelings, they are your compass. They are powerful clues that one of these plays might be in motion. Because ultimately, this knowledge gives you options. It gives you power. You can choose not to play, you can choose to set a boundary, or to just walk away entirely. The real power is in finally seeing the game board clearly. So the question I want to leave you with is, what are you going to do with that clarity?